Hello Virgo, welcome. This is your general reading for the month of September. So it's not going to resonate with everyone, so take what works, leave what doesn't. The messages are for whoever really needs to hear them. So check your own Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. See if maybe there's a message there if this one does not resonate. Or have yourself a nice private reading. That's always the best way to find some real clarity on your own personal issues. So, dear universe, what messages do you have for the greatest and highest good for all of our Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs at this time? Virgo, what's going on, Virgo? Hello, Virgo. Dear universe, what messages do you have for our Virgos, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs? Some of you are staying really quiet. Yeah, you're in your own little space. I always think that's not always a bad thing. All right, Virgo, what messages does the universe have for all of you out there? Let's see. Begin with your overall energy. The Page of Pentacles. That's nice to see because I feel like that's a new fresh start with an idea, a job. I feel like it's going to bring you balance because it's sits here with this Two of Pentacles. Ooh, and again we have the card of Temperance. So I think a new opportunity comes your way, Virgo. I think you've been sitting in a really depressed state for a while. I think you see life is passing you by for some of you. Let's see if I can move these cards over a little bit so you can see what I'm seeing. So here with this Page of Pentacles, maybe you're in school. Maybe you're in school, like at writer. If you're in school, I would encourage you to write because I think if, just don't worry. I feel like everything will come through, like the pages, the work that needs to be done for your class assignments. I almost get the feeling you're enjoying it. You're really enjoying it. Somebody's in college. I'm picking up somebody in college. You're feeling really good, really confident, really secure of yourself. So I feel like there was a shift because, like I said, I feel like you felt like life was passing you by, but it's like you've gotten a fresh new start. And it's making you feel really, really good and really in control. There's an issue yet that is hanging over you as far as something that you need to walk away from. And it could be, I get family business or family something. There's just something that has to do with the family that you want to walk away from it, whatever that issue is. Maybe some of you are leaving a family situation that was really, really toxic. And I pick up that this Virgo is in school. So I'm picking up a younger Virgo. Maybe you left and went to school. And that was actually a very good move because it got you out of a house that was very dysfunctional. You spent a lot of your time in there just being really guarded. And I picked up that you were being very quiet. So, I think you're happy that you walked away from this because you're really feeling good. Because you've been feeling bad long enough. And I feel like this Temperance card walks in and, things start to balance. I think you start to find a level of patience when you deal with others, maybe quite possibly this family situation, because you've been very guarded about something in the home, not wanting anybody to know. That's why you're staying really quiet. Quite possibly there is a Sagittarius in your world, Virgo, who might be able to help you. It's like there might be somebody who, is this kind of a person who steps in and helps you remain focused on what is really working good in your world, stay focused on school. So I feel like this is like a mentor who comes in and helps you deal with whatever issues going on at home. That's, because it weighs on you. And if, you're at school, you got to focus on what's going on at school, and you can't be worried about what's going on at home. Because chances are it's probably not your responsibility, it's more your parents. So just keep that in mind, that, you know, maybe what you need is to disconnect a little bit, really get focused in what your work is and what you are doing. And maybe journaling will help you process some of this home issue that's coming up. But you remain very guarded. So like when you go home, you're very guarded, because you just don't know what you're going to find when you open up the door. All right, dear universe, what messages do you have to clarify this reading for our Virgo? Hey, I think you hear news from somebody that is really a little upsetting, and it's about your home. So if you're away at school, I almost feel like another sibling or somebody, you know, like a sister or a brother, you know, they tell you some things, and I think the information is not very good. It's almost like, it's funny, it's like this issue that's going on at home, I think you and your siblings have tried to keep it really under wraps. And it's just, I think it gets out, whatever this issue is at home. I get a lot of yelling. I feel like there's a lot of yelling that goes on in the house. Yet I feel like if this is like brother, sister, 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 brother, brother, I feel like you're really close with your sibling, which is really great. So maybe that's who you turn to, you know, to help kind of lift your spirits. Because I feel a sense of depression with some of you. And I think it's because you don't know how to fix what's going on at home. And like I said, maybe it's not for you to fix. And maybe you should just let, you know, their cards kind of lay on their own table, and you just focus on what you need to focus on. Because the pages, you know, they're youthful energies, they're young energies, you know, they usually bring good messages and things like that. So I feel like the two of you stay very connected through all of this dysfunction that's going on at home. Yeah, and I think if you stay focused at work, you know, you're doing really good, because it keeps you from all of that noise. I feel like there's a lot of noise when you go home. All right, what else do we have for our Virgos? It's funny because I feel like in the midst of all of this, somehow you've protected yourself. You've protected yourself from a situation where I think it's because you remained guarded. Because I see you tiptoeing around the house. You're always tiptoeing around. It's like you're always walking on eggshells. If you're involved in a relationship, and this is talking about the relationship, yeah, this is a very toxic energy. So Virgo, I feel like I've got another Virgo I gotta talk to right now. All right, so for some of you, this may be a family situation where you have children and there's a lot of fighting. So the kids, you know, they kind of stick together. I think their mom tries to hold everything together regardless of the fact that things aren't together. It could be the dad, you know, but I feel like this Queen of Pentacles, and I feel like it's you. I feel like you're in a relationship where you're carrying all the responsibility. So, yeah. So we've now shifted from the children to the actual parents. So in this relationship, it's one of these things. Yes, you're soulmates, you're connected, you know, but at the same time, like, you have this inability to be able to, you know, function as a whole unit. So there's been a lot of conflict. And again, I see you being very guarded, not wanting to open up too much. Because, this need to be quiet really dominates your month, to not say too much. Because this relationship, you're very careful. Like, again, you're walking on eggshells. You're very careful to not set everyone off in motion. Because I almost feel like the energy of this relationship that you are in, Virgo, is so tumultuous. And somebody's very depressed in it. It's like, even though you're married, somebody is remaining single, kind of thing. There's a little bit of that. Kind of lurks in the shadows of, this person isn't as committed as you would want to believe. Like, they're married, but they're not married. We have kids, but we're not. But I don't want to look at the fact that bonds us. So I think things come out this month, and you start to see things start to come under control a little bit more. The Emperor, they're in control of everything, their emotions, their home, their work. They're above any king. They've got everything under control. So I get the sense that you being quiet and just watching things play out, it's like it gives you ammunition down the road. Because you're watching everything that this person is doing. And the reason why everybody's on eggshells, you're seeing them. You really are. Your intuition is I think what's keeping everything from exploding, because I get this image of a volcano, that's about to erupt. So the Chariot comes out reversed. So I feel like you guys are at a standstill as far as like how to move. And the Chariot, when it's reversed, for a personal level, I mean, it's making you stop and really look at internally, what's churning inside of you, what's not moving, what's not working, why are you stuck, why are you feeling trapped, what really is the formula, because I feel like you've been very patient, because having to deal with somebody where you're always walking on eggshells, that's really tough. That's tough for anybody. But I feel like you realize that somehow, some way, you've got to pull this family dynamic, this unit, back into order. And I feel like that's why you're not allowed to run and move away from this relationship, even though you want to walk away. You're not going to walk away just yet. You're going to try to make things work and get things back in order. I think finances have been really a struggle with you. And I think there's been that's been a real key to a lot of the problems that are going on in this relationship. Yeah. So I feel like the family has come out in this reading here, Virgo. Let's see if there's any final cards of advice for you. Since now we've heard from the children and we've heard from you, the adults. Okay, let's see what this says. So, again, the Chariot reversed. I feel like that's this emotion of the King of Cups. I mean, really being disconnected. And I think it's a protective mechanism to protect yourself until you can figure out what to do. Because you've lost the passion for this person, and I think it's because of their depression, because of how they've been, the passion between the two of you has been lost. So how to regain that remains the question here. And how to do this without feeling like you could lose out. Like, I feel like you're going to take a chance, because you would love to see a future with this person, but the way it's going, that's going to be really hard. And you're not ready to give up just yet. Not yet. Even though you know that this may end up in a real painful ending between the two of you in order to solve some of this conflict that's been going on. This is a tough read. Yeah, the Wheel of Fortune comes out reversed. So I think you know what you're working with, and I know what you're dealing with. And you're not happy. But you're not willing to give up just yet. Because I feel like there's a part of you feels like you don't have any advantage. Like you have no leverage right now. And I think that's your instability. And that's because you're walking on eggshells. So without really knowing how to make that next move, you just remain quiet and guarded. Because you know that the moves you make could be really, they're big. They're big, and you want to make good moves. And right now, things are not turning in a good direction. So I feel like you're starting to see things a little bit more clearly. I think you're starting to see how trapped some of these situations are that you've put yourself in. And you're really willing to make the work, but it's going to require some real truths to come out. Because you're done with the anxiety. And here we have this Empress reversed. I mean, this is you guys, you know. The Empress keeps looking at the Emperor, you know, but you don't want to see all of this, you know, oh, poor me, woe is me, you know, because I feel like this person is constantly PMSing, you know, so maybe a little help might be in order to lift the burden. Quite possibly somebody, if you want to get order around, I feel like, you know, you might have to go outside of the two of you try to figure it out and get some external help in order to get any kind of order to come in. Because you're willing to do the work. I think the question is, are they willing to do the work? You know, so I think that's where you are this month in September, is really looking to see, you know, where do you go from here? Because you're tired of feeling bad. And there's a part of you that's willing to be single again. But I think for you, Virgo, you need to know that you tried absolutely everything before you call it quits with this person. That's very admirable, really admirable. But I think you're in your power. I think you know what you're doing. So good luck this September. So stay tuned to my other readings and let's see if you come back up again in another reading. And remember, people, this is not for everybody. To me, this was a specific family that needed to hear this message. So tune in to another reading, maybe your sun, your moon, your rising, your Venus, and see if there's a message there for you. So until the next reading, blessed be, and I'll see you then. Bye now.